more kids. Uh-oh, run, that's what I think. So, let me tell you a story. You ready? Don't go to sleep. It's not the bedtime story. So, years ago, I was on my way to work down a country road, and in case you hadn't figured it out by now, I'm an animal lover. Any kind of animal, I love them. So I was going to work, and there was this dog, big dog, 60 pounds or so, standing in the middle of this 2-lane country road, a busy country road. And I'm like, that dog is going to get creamed, and I'm scooting, honking at it, trying to get it out of the road. And it got out of the road and, ran along the no shoulder side of the road, and, cars are backing up behind me. So all was well, dog, was off the road. And then I was coming home from work, and I was just sure I was going to see that dog creamed on the road. I didn't see that dog, so I was like, sweet. So a couple days go by, over the course of 2 weeks, I would see that dog standing in the middle of traffic, practically, in this 2-lane road. And I'm like, that dog is going to get creamed. So the last time that I saw it, it had gone back into its yard, which was this house that was right next to this road. So I was like, the dog is fine. But then I went by that same house on the way to work one day, and I saw the owners of the house, which I assume were also the owners of the dog, standing at the back of their car with the trunk open. And one of them was standing there leaning against a shovel, and the other woman was standing there with the shovel, and the guy was standing there with the trunk open looking in the trunk. And they both looked just really not happy. They weren't mad, they just looked sad. And they were like, anyway, so I went to work, and I was like, oh, I know that dog got hit down the street. They put it in the back of the trunk to get it back to their house so they could bury it. And I came back by on the way home, and I couldn't really see in their driveway going that angle, but I'm like looking over there trying to see if I could see any lumps of dirt or anything. And then I didn't see that dog at all for months and months. And I'm like, okay, that dog that's what I saw. They had picked him up from somewhere down the road, put him in the trunk, took him home, buried him. That dog is toast, just like I knew it would be, because it's always standing in the middle of the road. So months go by, and I'm thinking how sad that this dog got creamed, and, and these owners had to bury it and all that. And then lo and behold, one day I drove by that same house, and there was that dog in their yard. So all of those months of worry that it wasn't worry, it was, feeling sad for these people and the dog, and just like, it's another one. And because I see lots of animals that are creamed, and I pull them out of the road, and it's just not a pleasant thing. And so I'm just thinking, this is another one, chalk it up for another one. And when I drove by again months later and saw that dog in the yard, I was like, what the? So just because I saw it doesn't mean that it was fact. I assumed that it was accurate information because I put all these pieces together and came up with the conclusion that, yep, the dog was creamed, and then they were burying it. That day I saw him with the shovel and the trunk open and all that stuff. So if you remember The Odd Couple from way back in the 70s, back in the day, Felix, I think it was Felix, that gave a lesson about assume, because when you assume, you take the words and break them apart so you can figure it out. Make an ass of you and me. So that's basically what I did, because I had this inaccurate information. So what does that have to do with mental health? Stay tuned. So what does that dog story have to do with mental health, right? So sometimes we treat opinions as facts. And there's a difference between fact and opinion. Fact is a verifiable statement or a verifiable something. You can verify this. Like, I can verify that I saw the dog standing in the middle of the road. That was fact. And then the rest of it, it was also fact that I saw these people standing behind the car with the trunk open and the shovel. And so that was fact. And it was also fact that they were kind of in a posture that could be construed as being sad or depressed. But again, that might be just an opinion. So facts and opinions. An opinion is somebody's belief about something or their opinion about it. It's not a verifiable statement. It's like I could say the sky is blue, which it pretty much is, and that's a fact. And if I said, and the weather is beautiful, that's my opinion, because I think it's like 87 or something, 86 right now. And so some people, that's too hot. They're like, weather is not beautiful. Or I could say the grass is green. That's a fact, because you can verify it. Look, it's a fact. And if I say, and it needs to be mowed, that's my opinion. Or if I say, I need a haircut, is that fact or opinion? So it's an opinion, but I think it's a fact, but it's actually only an opinion. So what does that have to do with mental health? So when you start thinking about some of the stuff that we tend to think or hear, either about ourselves or about someone else, we sometimes treat opinion as fact, cold, hard facts. And it's really detrimental to our mental health when we start doing that, especially when it usually is negative statements. Like if we say, I'm so lazy. We treat that as fact. Yeah, so you didn't do something, for a while, but does that make you lazy, or whatever. But treating something like that as fact tends to send us down the rabbit hole of like depression or anxiety or whatever. So let's just take some examples. My boss said I did a great job on this project. Is that fact or is that an opinion? Well, it's both. It's a fact that he spoke. You can verify that. He spoke something. And what he spoke is his opinion. So it's kind of both. But the fact is that he said something to you. So despite being able to actually define the difference between fact and opinion in our rational brain, sometimes our emotional brain does not differentiate between a fact and an opinion. And we treat opinions as facts. Like I'm lazy, or I'm fat, or I'm ugly, or I'm worthless, or whatever, pick something. We treat that as fact. And sometimes when they're harmful opinions like that, like I'm a bad person, then we kind of get stuck in this negative thinking cycle that contributes to things like stress and anxiety and depression and all those fun things that everybody just loves to have. So what can you do about it, right? I did another video on challenging negative thoughts before last year, so I'll try to link that up to this one so you can know how to challenge these thoughts. But the trick is to get good at practicing defining the difference or recognizing the difference between a fact and an opinion, so or have a better idea of saying, oh, well, wait a minute, that was just an opinion. That was just their opinion or my opinion, so it's not fact, so I can't really hang too much, on that as far as dragging yourself down, because you can go down the rabbit hole of depression so fast when you get stuck in the fact, opinion is fact land, because it's not. Opinions are opinions. Like a majority of the news is opinion. One thing happens, that's a fact, but then the rest of it usually is opinion. It's like sporting, like when you watch football or something. It's like there's facts and there's a lot of opinion. But so if I was to give you an example of, like, if I said, I am a good friend. Thank you. No, if I said I'm a good friend, is that a fact or is that an opinion? Sounds like an opinion to me, but you can decide what you want. How about my hair looks bad? Is that a fact or an opinion? Actually, to me, it feels like a fact because I need a haircut so bad, but it's just an opinion. How about if I said no one, that means not a single person on the planet, no one will ever like me. Sometimes when we're teenagers especially, that's what we feel like. It's like, nobody's ever going to like me. Nobody ever wants to hang around with me. Nobody ever wants to go hiking with me. No, so things like that. It's like, no one. That's 0 people on the entire planet of how many bazillion people, right? So is that a fact or is that an opinion? How about, my friend is angry at me. I know this because they are frowning. Fact or opinion? Let's do that one again. My friend is angry at me. I know this because they are frowning. Is that a fact or an opinion? The storyline is that the person knows that their friend is angry at them because the friend is frowning. Is there any other reason on the planet that somebody could be frowning? Or is it only because they're mad at you? Right? Fact or opinion? It's even questionable about the frown. It might not actually be a frown. It might just be their face, you know? So sometimes you got to look at these things a little more closely and decide, okay, am I really reading this right? How about if I said, I watched TV instead of doing my homework? Is that a fact or an opinion? Is it verifiable? Can you verify this? Well, you can verify that you watched TV. So that was an action word. You can verify that. You said, I watched TV. The TV was on, you were watching it, and you didn't do your homework. So it's also a fact that you didn't get your homework done. So it sounds more like a fact statement. Now, if I said, I'm a bad person or I'm lazy because I watched TV and didn't do my homework, is that a fact or an opinion? Part of it's fact, part of it's opinion, right? It's like, because your opinion was that you're a bad person and you're lazy. So how about if I said, every single person in the room, everyone was bored during my speech, which may be true in this case when I'm lecturing you. No, everyone was bored during my speech. Is that a fact or an opinion? Now, if every single person came up to that speaker and said, you know, your talk was so boring, I fell asleep, thank you for the good nap, then, you know, that speaking of that to that person would be a fact. But it's everyone else's opinion. It's also the speaker's opinion that everyone was bored. It's not likely everyone was bored. How about, I should always be nice? Is that a fact or an opinion? That's a tough one because I think you should be nice, but then you get into the shoulding on yourself and you don't want to do that. So I should always be nice. Fact or opinion? Sounds like an opinion to me, but you decide what you want to say. So how about one more? How about the one that's verifiable, like, I have a blemish on my face? Is that a fact or an opinion? Well, for me it's a fact because I do have a little thingy, a little mole thing. But, you know, if you get hung up on it, you say, how about you use that same one? I have a blemish on my face and no one will ever love me. Fact or opinion, right? Actually a fact, but then the rest of it's opinion. It may not even be a fact that you have a blemish. You might just imagine it. You might just see a little tiny little spot and you think it's this giant thing, which is a whole nother mental health issue we won't even go into, but you get the idea. So if I was to take any of those statements like I am lazy and treat it as a fact, and then you just don't do anything because it's a fact, I'm lazy, so that's a fact, so why try? And then down the rabbit hole you go. And when you start thinking these things about you're lazy or you're whatever, ugly, or this just is the way I am, is that helping at all? Because it's an opinion. And you could say, okay, let's say you said, I'm lazy, this is the way I am, and I can't do anything about it, so you don't even try. But, and then you think, oh, and then I'm a bad person because I'm not even trying, and I'm useless, I'm worthless, yada, yada. But then you have like 15 other people that come to tell you, oh, you're a great person, I just love you, you're the best listener, or you're so helpful, or whatever. They give you all these compliments, and you're like, you don't have a clue what you're talking about, and you just say, well, that's just your opinion. All the while, we're treating our opinion of I'm lazy, I'm worthless, or whatever, as fact. It's the same thing. Your opinion is the same as their opinion. It's just you're treating yours as fact. And you're discounting all the other people who, like, majority rules, right? As opinions that you can dismiss, but you don't dismiss your own fact opinion. So you got to get better. We got to get better at recognizing facts and opinions and being able to differentiate between the two emotionally, not just definitionally. That's not even a word, but I just made it up. Doesn't sound too bad, definitionally. So once you get better at that, you can start saying, well, wait a minute, maybe I'm not as lazy because I did this, 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 and this, or, you know, I was able to help this person or whatever, pick something. You see where I'm going with that? So basically, the nutshell version is not all of our facts, especially when it's about ourselves, are actually facts. Are they verifiable? Something tangible, something that you can verify. Sometimes those opinions of ourselves, instead of like I'm lazy or I'm useless or worthless, they're the opposite. I am the best thing since sliced bread. Technically, Betty White was older than sliced bread, so you're the best thing since Betty White, you know, and nobody can ever touch me, and I'm the greatest on the planet, and you get all those narcissistic tendencies, who, that's a whole other thing. But their opinion of I'm the greatest thing on the planet is also an opinion, but they treat it as fact. See what I mean? And so when everybody else tells them, no, 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 you're not the greatest thing on the planet. In fact, you're quite a jerk, which is their opinion, but they're treating their I'm the greatest thing as fact. So it can go both ways, but neither one is healthy. Do you see where I'm going with that? Yeah, you do. So anyway, that was just what I thought, you know, I'd stop by here at this park that isn't actually a park. It's an old school, actually, in a tiny town, an old elementary school that they boarded up and turned into a library on part of it. So, yeah. So anyway, that was it. And, you know, just leave a comment or something. And the more likes that you hit on these videos, the more YouTube likes that. They kind of change the algorithms and whatever they do in the background to make it, you know, make it more visible. So liking the videos, subscribing if you haven't subscribed, those things are helpful to get these, you know, to get the rankings up a little bit. And I could use more subscribers and I could use more likes. Leave a comment, you know, down there and tell me kind of like what videos, mental meander videos you'd like to hear about, if there are any, or places that you'd like to go once my foot is healed. I'm still in a boot, but I had physical therapy today. If you want an update on my foot, if you want to know what happened to my foot, go back and watch the You Deserve a Break Today video from 7.5 weeks ago, and you can find out what happened to my foot. But let's just say I went to physical therapy today and we're making progress. So hopefully I can get back out on the trail soon. I did just pick up a county parks pass again, glutton for punishment, although I can't really use it yet. But anyway, we'll see in the next 3 weeks. So stay tuned. And again, like, comment, subscribe, that would really help. And I guess that's it for now. So behave yourselves and stay out of trouble and practice this, defining, you know, recognizing the difference between fact and opinion, and see how much that changes your depression or anxiety or whatever that you might have. Not that you have it, but in case you do, see if that helps a little bit. And I will check out for now, and I'll talk to you later. Little squirrelies. Aren't they cute? Well, there's a bunch of them. Hi guys, what you doing? Are you babies? Are you a baby? Look at how cute you are. Oh yeah, you are a baby. Look at you, how tiny you are. Or is that your brother or your sister? Little squirrelies. What you doing? There's a healthy squirrel population in this park. They're so dang cute though. Here comes more kids. Uh-oh. Run. That's what I think.